Now coming down the Palestinian Alps. You see, this is like in the Alps. The only difference is that this is called the Valley of Fire because it is a continuation of Qumran Valley which goes this way. You see here, this valley here goes to Qumran Valley, and the valley Qumran was used by Jesus because at a point they were usually burning all the rubbish that came from the temple in the valley. So Jesus was asking them and telling the people, look down, this is Gehenna, this is Gehenna, which is fires that do not distinguish. They are fires that are never extinguished, so always burning. And that's why the name Gehenna was associated with hell in the Arabic and the Hebrew language. Hell, Jahannam, we say. Drove with my car through was 1993. I could drive through Jerusalem, and then they blocked it, and then they started asking the Palestinians to drive around, and that's why what you see here is mostly Palestinian cars going to other cities and driving around for work and all that. Those were supposed to go through when there was no checkpoint. All the people would drive through Jerusalem to go, for example, to Ramallah, which is only 27 kilometers. Now with this U-turn we're doing, it's 55 kilometers. So you know, it's double the size, double the distance. But the people have no choice. I mean, they need to go to work, so they will have to drive. Look at your left here. You see how the water level was dropping. You see from one month to the other. And we will be passing by a spa that was built on the water. And you will see today how far it is. Today, to go into the spa, you need to have a car to bring you down to the water because it's so far away. He came in here and he built his western palace in the year 35 BC, and then the northern palace in 25 BC, and then he closed the area with 1,400 meters long wall, double wall, casemate wall that was surrounding all the area. Actually, it has a maximum length of 600 meters and a maximum width of 300, which we're going to see as we go on the top. And then what gave this very, you know, its importance is after the first Jewish revolt started in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans, some rebels went down here, led by Eleazar ben Yair, and they stayed here till the 15th of April, year 73. The 10th Roman Legion came down here and made a siege around the rock for 7 months, and that was, that was led by General Silva. And then they decided to build a ramp from the west because the western side is a little bit lower. So they built a ramp and they sent up a battering ram and destroyed the walls. And on that night, on the 15th of April, the night of the 15th of April 73, the rebels went, actually led by Eliezer bin Yair, went into the synagogue and told the men two things: we can live free in death, or tomorrow morning people will come in, the Romans will enslave our children, will kill us anyway and rape our women. And they said, okay, they took a decision that they end their lives. So what happened, that everybody went home and killed his family, and then they chose 10 men to kill the rest of the men, and then they chose 3 to kill the 7, and 1 to kill the 2, and the last one killed himself. And that was done in this way because in Judaism it's not allowed to commit suicide. You know, to be killed by somebody else is something what we cannot control, but to kill yourself, you cannot do it. And that account was mentioned by Josephus Flavius.
Was der Rüsten der Strecke, die sind auch gut auf eine kleine Strecke. Oder mit
From here you can see how high you are, okay? You don't think that you're really high, but you're really high. And you can control here the way. You see the way which is passing by the cars?
Lean in. Who's on the end?
Larry.
Larry Trammell.
She's taking a picture.
Okay, everybody. Smile.
An example of sycamore trees, you know what happens. Look at the stem is open. And this means with time the weight of the tree will break it and it falls, and that's it, it finishes. And that's why this is a good example of trees that were used at the time, but this is not the tree since it is only 350 years old. And the second, since Jericho was not here in the time of Jesus. Jericho was 2 kilometers to the south, okay? So they did not go out that much at the time to come up on this, to invite somebody to the village. There must have been another one which is a little bit to the south. Now we will stop in front of the mountain, and probably the people there will bring you some dates for tasting, which is 340 meters long and 120 wide, with 21 layers. And this is what we mean when we talk about Joshua and we talk about the destruction of Jericho. This was Jericho in the time of Joshua. And of course the story you know, they went 7 times around the walls, and then the walls crumbled down. And of course that we don't think that we are being prejudiced against women. We also should mention the story of Rahab, who before that actually tried to help the spies, and she was the only one saved. Off the bus for some minutes, I would like to talk about the temptations, and then you can take photos and you can use. And then he came to the tempter. The tempter came to Jesus, and he asked him, "Aren't you hungry, sir? Why don't you can do anything. Why don't you change the stone to bread?" I mean, even if we read the accounts in Matthew and or in Luke, we feel like two theologians talking to each other. The devil says it is written, and Jesus says it is written. And this shows that the devil knows exactly the word of God, and he tries to manipulate that word, that we fall in the trap. Can't you do anything? Why do you need God in your lives? You can do it, and you can change anything into bread. Maybe today we're not changing stone into bread, but we do everything to put bread on the table. And even sometimes we do things against our conscience, and we do habitual sins, because if we don't do it, we say everybody else is doing it, we are like everybody else, right? And I'm the same like everybody else, and you don't think about it anymore.
This guy, he doesn't know.
Where's Larry?
Oh, he's taking one.
Oh, I know.
We call it thinking. Look at Bedouin.
Oh, you got it.
Hang on tight.
You like riding your horse? No, my horse is more coming.
Be careful. Backwards.
Is that cool or what? Oh my gosh.
Let's go to the bus.
I'm sorry. I'm back. All the way. No. Now you will. Oh, what a good boy.